Welcome back to another episode of Travel Live Globally. And today we are sharing with you how we visit 2 islands, 3 countries in 2 weeks. That sounds like that's impossible, doesn't it? 3 countries in 2 weeks?
Look, nothing's impossible, but it does sound like it's a lot.
It does sound like it's a lot, but we're going to show you how you can do it too. If you want to follow the same itinerary, 2 islands, 3 countries in 2 weeks.
So, if you are watching us on Facebook or watching us on YouTube or any of the platforms, you'll know that we have been traveling almost exclusively in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And that included, U.S. Virgin Islands and a couple of other places. But the unique thing about the Caribbean is islands are owned by different countries.
Yep.
So, the U.S. has a presence, and the U.K. has a presence, and France has a presence, and the Dutch have a presence, and everybody's got an island.
And did you say the United States?
Yep. And the United States
even the United States has a presence.
So, between the British and the French and the Americans and the Dutch, you can do this same type of itinerary and go to 2 islands and cover 3 countries. Mm-hmm. So here's how we did it. First
island was Anguilla. And before we get started and digging deep in it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow us, and share. Help us grow this channel. You can find us on YouTube under Travel Live Globally and on Facebook, Travel Live Globally. So let's get into it. First island we flew into, and you wanted to go to Anguilla so bad, and I had put it off. But then after I said, okay, we couldn't really figure out where to go, and I was reading about all the live music that is there. We said, I went on and agreed and said, let's go on to Anguilla. Now we booked 2 weeks in Anguilla. So let me start off with that.
So I didn't notice, though, we say Anguilla. Some people do say Anguilla.
Anguilla.
Don't know what the proper pronunciation is, but we're going to go with Anguilla. And so we decided we would get our flights into Anguilla, and off we went. British island, British owned, operated, or however you want to call it. They drive on the left-hand side of the road. And we, this particular time, got not only the left-hand side of the road, but we got a car.
Steering wheel on the right.
With the European style of the car, steering wheel was on the right. She drove. You don't want me driving. She drove.
I drove.
But we were there for we were supposed to be there for 2 weeks.
Supposed to be there for 2 weeks. But let's share some of the things we learned about Anguilla.
Bottled water.
Yes. Make sure you stock up on water. One thing that they don't tell you when you're watching the Anguilla videos on YouTube is you cannot drink the water. You don't even want to eat food that is rinsed in the water. They have to use special filtration to rinse their food with the water, but you don't want to drink the water. You want to stock up on bottled water
all the time. If you're going to be taking laptops, if you're going to be taking computers or anything else, 110. You do not need an adapter in Anguilla.
Which is surprising.
It was surprising, despite the fact that it is British and you drive on the left-hand side and you can't get the water out the tap. You can plug in your phones and your laptops with a 110.
Yes. The other thing that we learned is it is a sleepy town. There after 8 o'clock?
Yep.
There's nothing to do. Matter of fact, one of the guys that I was talking to that lives there that we were renting from, he said, I asked him, if somebody wanted to come here and start a business, what should it be? And he said, entertainment in the evening, because there's nothing to do but make babies. Okay, he literally said that. So if you have an idea that will bring some life into the evening, Anguilla would be a spot for you to go to, because literally there's nothing to do. And breakfast. What else do we find?
It kind of starts late.
It starts late and it does not end till noon.
Yeah, kind of starts late. It's a little confusing, but that could be because, like a lot of Caribbean islands, there are roosters running around, but the roosters in Anguilla have no internal clock whatsoever. So if you are unfortunate enough to be in a location where the roosters are still running wild and they're call and response every morning, they go from 3 o'clock in the morning to whatever time they get tired. So
they even woke me up at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, all kinds of o'clock, right?
No internal clock. So that could be why breakfast starts late. Who knows?
Yeah, because I believe it's the only island that we slept in. And because we normally like to get up early and go get the day started, take a siesta, and then maybe do something later on. But this time we weren't getting out the bed till 10 o'clock. We was like, what the heck is going on? And I believe it was because of the restlessness of the roosters. Now, if you are staying, like we did do Airbnb, but if you're staying at the high-end resorts, which is what they really cater to, you may not have that problem. True. I don't know. But just to be in the community, make sure you bring earplugs. Earplugs, okay?
Yeah.
For the roosters.
So they do have some late night entertainment. Like if you are into the island music and everything, and if you're aware of the international artist Banksy Banks, he has a club there and everything. But they don't start till like 9 o'clock. Two places along the water's edge where they stay open 11, 12, 1, maybe 2 in the morning. But that is it for the whole island. It is a flat island.
Yes.
And you don't see, a lot of mountainous points when you're looking at the island. There are some high areas, but it's pretty flat terrain.
They do have beautiful beaches, though.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it rained so much while we were
probably
there.
About 3 days.
Yeah, so we didn't really get to the beaches as much as we wanted to,
right?
Because of the rain. But we did drive from one end to the other end, and it still was not really much to see. There are some historic sites that you can go visit if you're into that. But once you do everything, you can do everything in 3 days, I really would say.
Yep.
So I consider Anguilla an island if you really want to just go, relax, and escape everything.
Unplug.
Yeah.
While you can plug in all your stuff, but if you want to go someplace and unplug and not be disturbed, not have a lot of tourists around, it's a perfect place for that type of mental recovery, mental health recovery, medical recovery, I would say even, because the resorts and the villas and everything are really quite beautiful, quite luxurious. If you want that type of visit, it's a great place to go, with the expectation of you're not really trying to go do a lot. Then it works out fine.
Yeah, they just cater to you. But if you are travelers like us who like to explore, you like to get out into the neighborhoods, meet the people, that will be a little bit more difficult to do there because, again, it's just not that type of island.
Yeah.
I do think they want more tourists there, but they still are looking for a certain level of tourists to come in there, which they need some more entertainment if they really want to start bringing in other types of tourists.
Yeah, no cruise ships, no novelty stores and all of that stuff present on the island. And quite frankly, I think they're okay with not having cruise ships come in. They wouldn't mind if they want to take the dinghies over, but they don't want cruise ships right off their coast. Tourism is a double-edged sword. And so right now they're not really excited about bringing a whole lot of tourists. But as they say, certain clientele with a certain type of money, always welcome there.
So some of our favorite places that we did, we went and saw the Arch. So we learned about the Arch. You will have to pay $5 to go see it. So be aware of that. Bring cash.
Yeah, you can't walk out on it anymore. They're concerned about the deterioration and that it may, in fact, at some point collapse completely. It used to be a full bridge and an arch.
Let them pay to go hear the story.
Yep.
Go pay and hear the story. They'll tell you the story when you go see it. It's a very interesting story. And again, I think earlier, if you saw our episode earlier, Traveling While Black, you would know that this island is 80% owned by Black folks.
The natives.
Yes, which is like, I love that for them, right? So everything you see there is mostly owned by Blacks, and most of the tourists are white there. So if you go and you're Black, you're going to stand out and they're going to remember you. Okay.
So
the other thing, go ahead. What?
No, go ahead.
About Anguilla?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you go ahead.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting to me about the people of Anguilla is there's an interesting combination. So we met a couple of Spanish speakers from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and so in Cuba. So you can see the influence of some of these South American and Latino islands there,
moving in there,
coming in there. And I would imagine with things as kind of unsteady as they are, the influx of those particular populations may increase over time. So you will hear some Spanish as well as English there on the island, which was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't see it infusing into the food yet, though.
Yes, no, not really.
Yeah, I didn't see it really necessarily reflected in the food offerings there, but you do see the cultures there. Mostly they're young. Most of the Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and Dominicans that are there are very young.
So some of the places I also would recommend is try Tasties. Tasties was one of the local restaurants we would go to.
Tasties, POB,
yes,
point of view.
You got a nice view when you go there to eat. Make sure you check them out. And what is the other one? Vincey's?
We went to Vincey's.
Vincey's, yes.
Beautiful overlook.
Yes. Everybody does, it seems like, live music in the evening. So no matter where you go, you're more than likely than not to have some live music. So when we were at Vincey's, the little guy was coming over singing with us. And we knew because we were Black that they were,
really enjoying it.
Really enjoying having us there. We felt welcomed. People were lovely. And
and you'd be surprised how many people from Anguilla have actually been in the United States and or lived in the United States for quite some time, but they returned home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would advise renting a car while you're there. You get this driver's license. That was kind of unique. I was like, they just trying to think of a way to get that extra money. They could have just
30-day.
It's a 60-day.
60-day.
A 60-day driver's license.
Big old pink card.
Yes. I'm gonna drop that so you can see that. But you have to get your driver's license when you go. And when you leave, they don't tell you this either. When you leave the country, you have to pay an exit tax, which is $30 per person. Again, they cater to the high end. Okay. So you paying for your license, $25. You're paying to exit the country, $30. You're paying for all the water you gotta drink because you can't drink the water. I didn't even see where they have a landfill but they're plastic. I'm hoping they're recycling it because they got to be going through a lot of plastic over there.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. At least I hope they are.
Shoals Bay was a nice beach.
Yeah, Shoals Bay was nice. Look, the beaches are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're really, really nice. The water was kind of cool. But the beaches are clean. They're very well maintained. You can have a really good time no matter what beach you go to, and there's quite a few to pick from. So I would encourage you to set aside a day or two for beach hopping. Hopefully it doesn't rain. We got rain 2.5, 3 days. But the beaches are very nice. And again, if you're there to rest, relax, and recover, Anguilla is a great spot.
Yeah. And it's not on the cheap side either. So make sure you bring plenty of money to eat up.
All right. So that takes care of island number 1 and the British.
Yes, that's the British. So remember when I said we were booked for 2 weeks, right? But we couldn't make it. We could not make the 2 weeks.
And we're not clubbers or nighttime people.
Yeah, we're not.
But after about 5 or 6 days, we were good.
Yes. So we end up canceling the rest of our trip there. And you can do the same if you plan it ahead of time. And we looked across the water just like we saw some mountains over there. And we like, let's go there, right? So we did take the ferry over. There is a ferry charge of How much was the ferry?
Was $30 per person, and then there is also
the exit tax. So we end up spending $60 per person to get to St. Maarteen,
the French side. It is Blowing Point Ferry. It's a 25-minute ferry from Anguilla over to St. Maarten, the French side.
Yes.
Into what's called Marigot. And I will say this, that the ferry was actually very comfortable. The air circulation was good. You've got a little movie you can watch. It's a little more chaotic when you come back, but we'll talk about that in a second. But we took the 25-minute ferry over. We were really, really fortunate in that we booked a spot in an area called Grand Cas, canceled a reservation 24 hours before. And so we lucked up and got a condo on the beach.
Yes.
And
literally
absolutely amazing. And hopefully Tammy will share a few pictures with you during the course of this video. But the location, the view, you could not have asked for something any better for a last minute booking for people who had just changed their mind because they were over on another island and could see the island. So we
didn't change our mind because we could see the island. We changed our mind because we got bored.
And we could see an island that we could go to really easy. And we did.
And we was like, might as well since we're here.
Absolutely glad that we did that.
Yes.
And so we got a wonderful location, got great access to a walkable part of the island where we literally started at the top of the street with the restaurants and ate our way down
the
street. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner until we got to almost the far end. We skipped a few places in between. We're going to get them when we go back.
Yeah.
But we did literally eat our way down the street, and we could walk to it and from our unit, which was fantastic. But things that we absolutely did not think about.
Car rental, you do not have to do unless you want to drive somewhere. But if you stay in the Grand Cas area, you do not need a car. You have the beach, you have entertainment, you have food, plenty of food options. Because if you move your car, you may not find another parking spot.
Yeah, parking's awful.
They have a lot of cars and little space, right?
Yep.
And so we end up only driving our car 2 days, but we paid for a week rental because we didn't know. But I think
maybe 2.5 days.
Okay, maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, we drove our car 3 days in a week because we were scared to move the car. One time we did move the car. Now you ain't got to pay for no driver's license over there. But one day we did move the car and we had to park down the street because we couldn't find parking. So if you find a place, I told Renee, if you find a place that includes private parking, that is premium.
It is gold.
Take it.
It is gold.
Okay.
And they do drive on the right side of the road.
So she got the drive for a change.
Yeah, she drove all the time in Anguilla. I got to drive the whole time for 3 days while we were there. But we did take one of those days to drive completely around the island, which was really, really nice. But talking about the French side of the island, where we were, French is the language. However, most folks can speak English. You just need to make a very small attempt to try to speak some French. But they're very complimentary. Service, 99% of the time, was amazing. You get a few glitches every now and then, particularly when you're down on the beach. Now, if you're on the beach and you're getting beach service, they work on island time. So it may not be as fast as you would get in the restaurants. But there's a secret to the restaurants even that Tammy pointed out, that sometimes they take a little bit longer so they have an opportunity to serve you a little more drinks. And so
I feel like that.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
We ended up with coffee, which Americano coffee is still only about that big. Espresso, this big. Americano coffee.
Yeah, she said, do you want a large coffee? And this is what I saw. I was like, what? That's a sip.
She said the big one or the little one? She said the big one. And so she went from this size to this size.
Yes.
And that was it.
But the coffee was good.
It was amazing.
But like she said, I think they take that extra time to slow down so that, it's just personally, I don't know, my coffee was dry by the time before I got my breakfast. And so they don't do free refills. You got to pay for another cup. There ain't no free refills. So, but I didn't mind because I wanted some coffee or orange juice or anything to drink with my breakfast, right? So, but it was worth it.
The fresh juices, amazing. You can get fresh pressed or you can get fresh juice, but tropical flavors, orange is the most common, but pineapple, mango, passion fruit, lemon, you name it, you can get them. They're all fresh. They're all amazing. Mm-hmm. We honestly cannot say that we had a bad meal.
Yeah.
At all. Mm-hmm. We had what arguably would be our most extravagant meal. Honor of Valentine's Day. We treated ourselves out, went to Ocean's 82. Shout out to Ocean 82 and the team of service folks that took care of us at our table, from the sommelier all the way down to whatever the little runner's name. We had
if I just looked at my bottle to get to pour some, they was right there. It was amazing.
The service was amazing. The price tag was, but the food, absolutely.
I think the price was worth it. It's not like a place that you're gonna. It's not a place that you're gonna go spend that every week at or something. But for like Valentine's Day,
yep.
And we probably overindulged, right?
Wanted lobster, our own. We both wanted our side dishes of our own, although we shared them. But we had an amazing dessert. And so it was a fabulous experience. And at the end of the night, we're able to take a really nice walk down the beach back to our condo. So we didn't have to worry about cars and parking. We walked down leisurely. We walked back leisurely. And it was a phenomenal time. And so a little further past that restaurant, we later realized that
Don't get into that one. Yeah, I want to say one thing before we get into that, because that's going to tie into the next one.
All right, we'll back it up then.
So keep listening.
So we've had a couple of experiences. And so breakfast at La Cantina, first place that we went to.
Oh, the crepes.
Tammy wanted to experiment with crepes. Now, her experience with crepes is fruit,
right? Powdered sugar and fruit, right? On your crepes. That's how you do it.
She was politely corrected by the French woman who waited on our table and served us that fruit in crepes is not French. No. We don't put fruit
not
in
for
our
breakfast.
Crepes. Those are desserts. And so Tammy had her first breakfast crepe.
Yeah, and it had ham and cheese in it. And it was actually amazing. I got it twice. It was really, really good. And it was light. It was really light in the cheese. I don't know what kind of cheese they use. Maybe a goat cheese or something, or mozzarella or something in it. But it was light versus getting a bagel or other kind of breads on it. So it was very thin. It was light. It was good. Again, we walked to our food every day, and it was nice to walk to it and eat our food, walk back home. So I didn't gain any weight, even with all the food we ate. I had ice cream and desserts and rich foods and pizza and all kinds of stuff. Oh, the favorite pizza place. Well, I don't remember the
Okay, so we had pizza twice.
Yes.
The first place was
little hole in the place.
Pizzeria, a little hole in the wall, hand tossed, thin crust, just a basic mushroom and pepperoni pizza. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. We ate all except for 3 slices, took them back to the room, had them for lunch the next day. Mm-hmm. Pizza was fantastic.
Yes.
But then later, Tammy found that it was recommended to a gourmet pizza place, Latisa something. We'll look it up.
We'll drop it. Yeah.
A gourmet pizza, and it was the what was it?
La Frenchie.
Was that the salad or the pizza?
Oh, that was the salad.
Okay,
the salad was amazing too.
Yeah,
the truffle pizza. It was some kind of truffle pizza.
Oh my gosh, so good. We'll again drop it in the comments, but the pizza was amazing, the service was amazing, the drinks were really strong, but they also, one of the things we realized in a lot of the restaurants we went to, gives you a finisher, of a little shot, and we had one at dinner for Valentine's Day. Ended up bringing 2 bottles back of a really, really
It's rum.
homemade rum that they have there at the
It's
restaurant.
really smooth.
And they had a similar finisher at the pizzeria place. So
it probably the same one.
I don't know.
I think they're right across from each other.
Yeah, a little bit down the street from each other, but they're right across from each other. But anyway, the pizza was amazing there as well. And so it's not just French food, the Italian food that is done there. I did have at Coho a was it a lobster lasagna? Lobster and spinach lasagna, which was fantastic. They did put a brown sauce on it. I would have loved it even better without the brown sauce, but the lasagna was amazing.
That was where I had the stuffed potatoes. I mean, some tomatoes.
Yeah, it was
stuffed tomatoes. Oh my God, it was stuffed with mozzarella.
It was beautiful
cheese.
To look at. It looked like a piece of artistry.
And it had this pistachio sauce with it because French do sauce, right? Oh my God, it was so good. And then we had the salads at Frenchie's.
Yep.
Frenchies have really, really
Captain
good
Frenchies.
salads.
Shout out to them. Excellent salads. I had the Caribbean, which had the salads with beets and fruit and shrimp in it with this amazing dressing. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was really good.
We liked it so much. We liked it so much. We had it, and then when we wanted one of our second day to our beach day, we didn't want to go do a whole lot, so we just walked back down the street, took our towel. Well, we actually walked back down the beach, took our towels and everything. We had 1 o'clock reservations for some beach chairs, and then had salads and drinks brought back out to us again, so we could have the salad again another day. So it was really, really fun.
Yeah. So speaking of reservations, when you go there, make sure you reserve spots, even if you don't think you need to.
Yeah.
Make sure that you call to ask and reserve spots because it isn't that big. So it's kind of deceiving, like, oh, there'd be room for you, but they will book out because for Valentine's Day, you wouldn't even think it. They said they had 300 reservations. And that was just for one
We had
restaurant.
Valentine's Day dinner at 4:30. Because you could not get another reservation until almost 9 o'clock at night, and they had over 300 seatings in this one restaurant. And
not at one time, but yeah.
So it is a little crazy. So even for breakfast, it may be advisable to get reservations. We went to Rainbow Cafe. We did not have reservations. They made room for us because there was only 2 of us. But if you're a larger party, might not be the case.
Yeah.
Absolutely make reservations, even sometimes for breakfast, particularly on the weekends because it gets really crowded.
But overall, I believe visiting St. Maarten on the French side is a must. It is somewhere I would go back to. Would you go back to?
Absolutely.
Yes. And even though it is family, it's really weird, okay? Because what I'm going to say is it's family oriented, but it's also couple romantic. So
family friendly.
Yes, it's very family friendly. Like there were kids there, but it wasn't even overwhelming with kids, and it didn't bother us. And we were able to still, as a couple, to connect with each other. More so than any other place we've ever been.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. And I will say this as a caution. We were at the beach one day, just chilling. We were talking to our kids by way of FaceTime. And in panning the camera, one of our daughters asked if we were at a nude beach. I had no idea why she even asked that question. Unbeknownst to me, for the last 30 minutes, I'm sitting next to a woman who was completely topless. I had not paid any attention whatsoever. So French side of the island, sunbathing. There are nude beaches. However, sunbathing topless is not something that is foreign. So if you do have your kids, you might want to take that into consideration. But again, nobody really pays attention. I certainly didn't. All right.
So let's go to our third country. But before we do, we want to do a comparison. And I'm going to drop a little video right here to show you that comparison. But she was going to mention earlier on the French side, down on all the way at the end of the street, you find barbecue. And so we had the barbecue there, but we also had the barbecue over on the Dutch side. So St. Maarten is owned by 2 different countries. You got the French on one side.
St. Maarten.
Yep. And then St. Maarten.
Sint. Maarteen.
Sint Maarteen.
S-I-N-T. Sint Maarteen.
On the Dutch side, there's no border actually to cross, but there's a sign.
There's a pillar that says, here's the border.
Yep, and you can just go freely all the way around the island, which we did drive
around.
But it's definitely two different worlds. Definitely two different vibes, two different cost of living, two different everything. So we went over to the Caribbean side. Oh, I'm calling it the Caribbean side, but to the Dutch side, which is our third country that we wanted to mention. And it has much more of a Caribbean feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, no doubt about it. You, if you are, wanting to get a Caribbean meal and a sense of the Caribbean culture on the Dutch side of St. Maarten, you will definitely find it there. There are more people of Black descent, all speak English. So you don't have to worry about trying to navigate Francais. But it is where the cruise ships come in. So high tourist traffic on the cruise days. The beaches set up a little bit differently where the cruise area is, but when you go further out, you'll see that they have a lot more flexibility with some of their other beaches in different locations. We did not get down to Simpson Bay, although we have been there before many, many years ago. But I will say that if you are looking for the Caribbean food, i.e. the ribs that she was talking about.
And the vibe.
With no sauce. And you want a Caribbean vibe in terms of, just the music and how people are interacting culturally and everything. The Dutch side is where you will find that. It is a difference, a significant difference between the Dutch side and the French side. And I find that the Dutch side is much more laid back and casual.
Oh, yeah.
Than the French side as well.
And the cost of food is like 1/4 of the price.
Well, the Caribbean dollar and the U.S. dollar.
Right, because that is the thing, too, because they do Caribbean dollar.
The French side is euro.
Yes, and the euro on that. That's just amazing how it's so separate. So, our dollar is weak to the euro. And so when you're looking at the euro, you're actually going to pay more than what is on that menu. But on the Dutch side, they use the Caribbean dollar, and our dollar is strong.
Yep.
So you get more for your money on the Caribbean side, and it's just cheaper. It's just, if I did the research, it's like 1/4 of the price, but it's cheaper to rent on the French side, but cheaper to eat on the Dutch side. So let us get into these ribs, because I know you want to get into these ribs. Tell us your experience of the ribs from the Dutch side and the Caribbean side. I mean, I keep calling the Dutch side and the French side.
So, I don't know if Tammy's going to drop a little video.
Yeah, if I didn't already drop it, it'd be at the end.
I will tell you this. Growing up in the United States where we do ribs, and they always come with sauce. You can eat ribs without sauce in the United States, but they always come with sauce. I don't care if you're down in Memphis or if you are in Atlanta or if you're out in Texas. There's going to be some sauce.
They got dry rub.
But 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some sauce. But with that being said, some people will say, well, that's how you're supposed to eat them without sauce anyway. Well, that's exactly how you're going to eat them if you are on the island. And so we were on the Dutch side, having our vibe moment, feeling the beach, walking around, doing a little shopping, getting into the mood and everything. And we smelled this barbecue. And I'm like, ooh, I think it's about time for us to stop and have a break. So we stop, we pull up, and the little ladies out there grilling, and was like, what's our choices? And they were like, ribs. I'm like, oh, ribs. We're going to get the ribs. So we get the ribs. We sit down. He brings us this plate. Boom. Sits in the
big old plate of ribs, too.
It's just full. And I am about to be in rib baby heaven. So I am eating the ribs. And when I tell you, when I pick it up, before I can even put it in my mouth, it is falling off the bone. They are...
It put a whole new meaning to tenderism, didn't it?
They were unbelievably
Mr.
tender,
Tenderism,
extremely flavorful, and they were the little short baby ribs too. When I tell you those things were like, they were looking good, they were finger licking good. We sat there and ate up the whole plate.
Yes, and I'm going to drop where we got that from because I don't know offhand the name.
The whole plate of ribs.
A place that we got that from.
I managed to have, a beer. I didn't want to drink too much because I had to drive back because, again, we was on the right-hand side driving again. But the ribs were absolutely amazing. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I would come here every day and eat ribs if I could get to these ribs every day. They were so good. I cannot begin to describe to you. Very flavorful, very tender, absolutely perfection. Mm-hmm. And so, comparison. When we were on the French side, much later, we finally found this place that had barbecue, not just the ribs, but the chicken as well. Mm-hmm. But I believe while they're on the French side,
they're still from the Dutch side.
They came over from the Dutch side, and they operate this multi-complex.
It's like
of Lolos. Mm-hmm. So there's a Lolo number 3, Lolo number 5, Lolo whatever, and there's different partners all cooking some of the same things, but some of the different things as well in this little hub, where there's like 4 or 5 different restaurants all under the Lolo banner. Mm-hmm. And so we sit down, we order, we have ribs and we have chicken. And so now we're interested in comparing the ribs. I still have to say, rib number 1 on the Dutch side was still my favorite, but rib number 2 on the French side
still beat the United States.
Pulls up a close second behind rib number 1 is still better than any ribs I got here in the States. Yes. So rib number 2 on the French side, although I still prepared by folks from the Dutch side, were absolutely amazing, as was the chicken that they did as well. Yep. We just enjoyed our meal. We had some coleslaw, and what else did we get? I had some corn on the cob, mm-hmm. and all of it was absolutely amazing. And we were standing there watching people walk by, and it was
everybody was so nice and friendly,
super friendly, super helpful when trying to decide what side you want, what side you don't. Good, healthy portions, but not overkill. Right. I found that regardless of wherever we went, while we got a lot of food, we didn't get too much food. In the United States, you get these huge portions. You get healthy portions, healthy size portions, mm-hmm. but you don't ever leave feeling absolutely stuffed. Right. You feel
and you don't really take that much food home.
Yeah. We took small amounts of maybe a little leftover here and there, mm-hmm. That we would have the next day. It's the only time I think we actually ate all of our leftovers. Right. And didn't leave anything in the refrigerators or put anything in the trash. We ate it all. But we had such small amounts of the leftovers that we could actually do that. But I want to say once again, if you go to St. Maarteen, try the ribs on both sides of the islands. Tell me what you think.
Yes, and let us know in the comments. Have you been to St. Maarteen before? Let us know your experience in St. Maarteen, which side you like the best, and give us some pointers because we are going back there. Yes, a week there was not long enough for us. Yep. And as you know, we are looking for an island that we could move to, and it is on one of our top of our list right now.
It is on top of our list. And I will say this. I am super excited and really stoked about going back. The one drawback of this island versus other islands is, if this is of interest to people, is in and outside of the hurricane ban.
Yes, that's the
only drawback that I really mm-hmm. can see at this point. We've also looked at, in a preliminary kind of way, healthcare, things of that nature. And so far it's right up there with the top of the choices to be made. But if you want to get an itinerary on how to do in 2 weeks, 2 islands, 3 countries, reach out to Travel Live Globally. Tammy can help you with that.
Tammy can help you with that. All right. But that is how you can do the 2 weeks and 2 islands and 3 countries. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spend a lot of time on the Dutch side, but we did drive all the way around. It took less. I mean, if you drove all the way around straight, I would say it probably takes 2 hours.
Yeah, because the traffic more than anything
but
else.
we made some stops, and we had the most. I have to share this quick. It was on the border of the Dutch side and the French side when we decided to get breakfast.
Oh yeah,
it was the most amazing, simple
American breakfast.
Simple American breakfast that tops any American breakfast I've ever had. I don't know what they do with their eggs. I don't even like eggs, but I like eggs in St. Martin. Okay, never ever ever have I ever liked eggs since I was a child.
Right.
Okay. But for some reason, I was eating the eggs in St. Martin. They were really good. But this was just 2 eggs, bacon, and some little cute potatoes. It was small. It wasn't over proportion. It wasn't overwhelming. I ate every bite. I don't know what kind of oil they used to cook them potatoes in or how they cooked them, but I never tasted anything like it before.
Yep.
Most simple breakfast.
Yep, it was very good.
Yeah. So if you have ever been, again, drop it in the comments. Make sure you like, share, follow. Tell your people about this show, Travel Live Globally, on YouTube or Facebook. YouTube, you get the long form videos. And join us as we continue our travels and continue to find our perfect location that we want to settle down in. But until then, we'll continue visiting other islands. If there's an island out there that you think is worth visiting, drop it in the comments so that we can check it out and we will go and visit there too.
All right.
Any last words?
Just remember to travel and live globally.
Yes, and have fun while you're doing it. Talk to you later. Bye.